I wouldn't even blame you for not knowing that a new Assetto Corsa game is coming, and it's coming this year. Assetto Corsa 2 or Assetto Corsa Evo has been announced for a while, actually. Hell, if we scroll down, 3 months ago, this video was released. And if you're wondering if there's anything else to this video, that would be a no. That's quite frankly all we got. But that was the case. Things have changed now. We have seen the game. The game honestly looks good. I am properly impressed with what they have done with this game. Now, one of the things I'm majorly excited about is on these screenshots, every single one of them, which we will pull out a few details you may have missed. The detail is really good, but there seems to be a garage in the background. I don't know how much you remember of the original Assetto Corsa, but you'll know it was just a menu. You press a menu and you go. To the point where most of us actually probably don't even remember what it looks like because we use mod loaders and there was no garage element. And this looks like it's gonna be a game. Now, before people ask, yes, it will be coming to PlayStation, to Xbox, to PC. PC is obviously gonna be the place that most people are gonna be playing this game for one particular reason, because let's talk about the title. There is absolutely the issue of mods when it comes to the new game. How is it going to work? Are we going to lose years and years of development of mods? Are they going to make it easy to mod? Are they going to make it more difficult to mod? I've actually got a bunch more screenshots on the Steam page, but one of the huge things about this one, the orange peel on the car looks good. That's something that a lot of people pointed out, that the best example that we've seen in at the Xbox and PC side of things is what Forza Motorsport 5 for the orange peel. They've done a really good job. The materials look great. The cars look very nice. What the hell does a Vision N? Okay, I'm happy. Hyundai are really doing bits with getting their cars into the games. We got the i20N. Rest in peace to my boy. I love you and miss you. Hello, beautiful. We got the beautiful detail on the manual shifter. I'm excited. Now, it's worth saying that this is definitely going to be more of a game than it was previously. In the previous one, let's be real, it wasn't really much point to buying the game unless you were going to mod it. And that's where I think I'm still going to say, I feel like most people are still going to recommend Assetto Corsa 1 before Assetto Corsa 2 finally gets going. I think the fact that their trailer on YouTube had 300,000 views for a piece of text that confirms the game exists, that we already knew was in development because they've been speaking about it, maybe a little bit quietly, for a really long ass time. And then that says the excitement that people have for this game. They could have posted like no Hezi gameplays. No. Maybe, probably not. But let's talk about it. Mods in Assetto Corsa. Do I think it'll be moddable day one? My prediction is a big fat yes. Do I think they're going to make it moddable as in you just upload stuff for the Steam Workshop? Probably not. I don't think they're going to create any tools necessarily, because it seems like car brands are signing up to be in Assetto Corsa, and the fact that they are, well, tells me that maybe they don't know about all the mods that exist, or maybe they do and they don't know what mods are. Car brands are notoriously bastards when it comes to modding, when it comes to doing anything with cars. All of a sudden, if you can just mod the new Porsche 911, blah blah blah, not paying them a license, they're gonna be mad about it. They're gonna be like, why didn't we get any money for this? So this is one of the locations they showed us. I love this so much. And I'm noticing quite a lot of road detail over there. That's pretty nice. Now, one of my favorite things about Assetto Corsa is, of course, the open world maps. And I almost wonder if they're going to set the game up to have some of those things. I thought about the idea, what if, because again, it's been such a long time, and Assetto Corsa Competizione is something that is just completely different. People that love Assetto Corsa don't necessarily like Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's not quite honestly the same thing. I was thinking, just like Need for Speed has been doing recently, these guys are a smaller team. They're not a huge team. They've obviously, you know, built up over time. And of course, this is going to have the best chance of being their best game yet from a go. I just really hope, like the Need for Speed team, they have taken the modding tools that the community have created, the modding that people have done, and reverse engineered it and implemented it into the base game. If they add the beautiful graphic stuff, the wet roads stuff, if they do it to some capacity, because of course some of the ridiculously high-end PCs that are required to run this stuff, but if they make it so it's runnable on the lower level hardware, they do it as best as they can. They take the graphics mods, they take some of the UI mods, take some of the most important modifications. Hell, you could probably just take the most important 5 or 6 of them, implement them into the game, and it's already off to a better start for the community than most places. Being real, the only thing that needs to work modding wise is, in my opinion, the tracks and the cars. Everything else is kind of optional. Like they could in a way make life so much easier in terms of because the most complicated, convoluted parts to explain, and the things that I've had break the most amount of times, is staying out of date with this kind of content pack and graphics, and that's the most complicated, convoluted bit. The game is going to look better. That's ultimately what we know. You don't make a new game and make it look visually worse. It's been how many years since the previous one? And from what we know, they are actually building this as a new game. So they haven't, not necessarily haven't at all, but haven't completely just taken everything and gone and made it better on the same old game. It's not something that really would have worked, but they are once again using their own engine, which is really great for the fact that, well, it leaves a little bit more holes for people to try and loop into and start modifying the game. And one big point, of course, and the main reason overall why I talk about this, is because one, Assetto Corsa does incredibly well on PC. What it doesn't do well on is consoles. And this is where I think they're gonna struggle a little bit, because there is no way on earth that they can compete with the likes of Gran Turismo over on PlayStation, and of course, sorry, excuse me, I was going to say Forza Motorsport. Maybe, no, I'm definitely wrong on that. So there's a place on Xbox for them to just straight take out Forza Motorsport, but again, when it gets back into its stride, it probably will. Those are the games you go for. Forza Motorsport on I was going to say on PlayStation. Forza Motorsport on Xbox, and then, of course, Gran Turismo on PlayStation. For your track sim racing games, that's what you're going to go for. They know the majority of their market is going to be PC. So I think there's going to be any type of modding support available? Is it possible? It's doable, but it's very, very rare that anything like this could ever happen. I think as long as they've done a nice job of adding those open world maps, as I said, into the base game, those beautiful graphics, beautiful mods, the weather stuff into the game as a base, I think we're laughing. I think that's going to be a good time for everybody. Now, I did hear some murmurings from a few people, and I never found exact, explicit, written confirmation that this is actually ever a possibility, but apparently some people were saying that there's a chance that you could allow the modifications from the other game into this game. Now, if that was the case, they would have had to reuse a hell of a lot. They would have had to basically reuse the same engine, the same everything from the previous game. Is there a way that car models could be brought across? And car models is something that could be ridiculously easy. If you don't know, the easy way to add car mods into this game, quite frankly, is you just drag and drop. It's that simple, and as long as it remains the case, then I don't see any reason why cars necessarily couldn't be adapted very quickly to work from the first game to the second game, because they probably did cars the same way they did previously. If it's a little bit different, it's based on the locations of the files maybe, or how the sound files are set up in comparison, because, you know, sound is going to be maybe a little bit, hopefully a little bit different in this game. But overall, all I'm really hoping for is another Assetto Corsa that looks a little bit nicer and is as easily moddable as the previous one. Because if it's not as easily moddable, and we have to wait, because people will get through this. You can't release an Assetto Corsa mainline game and not expect people to try and break down through that wall very quickly. Which is why I said a little bit earlier, and I will again, I think for the first month or 2 or 3, you're not really gonna see much about the game other than, you know, I'm gonna be playing a little bit of it and checking out what it's got. And because there are a few pain points, for example, I would like to see fixed. Like the sounds are always a little bit weird. Like the shifting noises, the sounds are either really loud or really... There's not much level to the sound. It's always lacks in that. Even when you mod it, something just doesn't sound right. Another thing is the camera. Don't really like the cameras. That's a huge thing that could be improved. And also, as much as people say, you know, oh, it's the best simulation game, the handling never felt 100% right to me. Now, part of that is due to the camera, as I mentioned previously, but there is no question that the game feels a little bit off on its inputs or how the car receives those inputs. Something isn't right. And no matter how much tweaking and modding and everything you do, just doesn't feel 100% right. Camera is definitely a big point, as I mentioned, but I don't think that's the only thing there. So I hope there's huge improvements on simulation, which, again, Assetto Corsa Competizione started not great in terms of its simulation, but it improved massively. But in this game, I feel like you can get away with a little bit more arcade sprinkle on top. But we'll just have to see what they do. But we are at a huge advantage with this game for a particular reason, and that is the community. The Assetto Corsa community, I feel like a year or two ago, even the game's like 20 million years old by this point, I feel like the community was at its peak like a couple of years ago, and it keeps getting rebirths of these just resurgence of people coming into the game, and that in turn, well, people that know how to do the modifications, and seems to be quite an easy game to get into modifying. It seems like, well, there's already a foundational group of people that are going to latch onto this game straight away and smash out some mods. And I think very quickly, as soon as we start getting the open world maps, which hopefully again are also as easily adaptable from the first game to the second game, because there's so many huge projects that people are working on, so many work in progress maps that will all of a sudden just not work unless we can get those to work. Hopefully it's just a super easy method to do so, but I have a feeling they know the success of the game will not be there unless there's modability. It just wouldn't make sense. But I'm excited, hopefully, to have a proper campaign progression, have your cars in a garage, see your cars change over time, see multiple, like a garage space like that, and then making it moddable is really exciting to me. I love that so much. So we'll see how the customization works. They might be able to find a way to make it so that you can customize within the garage. Therefore, mods will be able to do that as well. I think straight away, overall, properly excited for this game. And of course, you're in the right place to hear more information about it as it comes out. The game is supposedly coming out this year, and from what we know, it was supposed to come out around summertime. So we should actually hear about this game really soon. It'll definitely be this year. It's not that complicated of a game, right? Right. Anyway, check out these videos if you like Assetto Corsa. I do as well.